Hi friends, thanks for joining me. Today I've got a layout for you using the amazing August hip kit. In fact, it's just the main kit I'm using today. And I'm going to create a nice summary layout with the main kit. I should state I've actually made 5 layouts already with this kit. So when I realised I had to make just a main kit only layout, I was having a bit of a panic because I know I'd already made so many layouts. But thankfully the kits are huge, aren't they? So I still have plenty of leftovers, even for 1 or 2 more. So just goes to show you how much is in the kits each month. So I'm having a bit of a paper tearing session today. I'm just loving the texture that paper tearing creates. I think it's just one of those things that go maybe a bit in and out of fashion. But for me at the moment, I am absolutely loving torn paper and those curly edges that you get. So I do have the main kit, as I say. And as I mentioned, I do have already used lots of it. So I'm using some bits and pieces of leftover pattern papers. And what you saw me do there, I'd recently bought a duvet and it came with like a ribbon and a tag. But the tag was a perfect size and really chunky cardboard. So what I've done is I've kept the tag. In fact, I kept the ribbon as well. And I'm using that as a template. So, if you don't have a die cutting machine, and I've got a die cutting machine, I've got loads of tag dies, but sometimes it's just a bit of hassle to get it out. Just for a few simple tags. So that's my top tip, is to save some packaging. You could go and create a tag if you don't have a decent sized tag, but it's just a really quick and easy way to to add a bit of interest to your page. So I've got a couple of 3x4 photographs there from a holiday. It must be quite a few years ago, 2014, so going back a few years. And obviously the kit is perfect for a summer holiday. We were in Menorca in the Balearic Islands, one of our favourite places to travel as a family. It was perfect for when the kids were little. So I'm going with a couple of tags. So you've seen me hand cut those tags from the pattern papers. If you get the Pocket Life kit, you'll find there's loads of tags in there in the die cut pack, but as I say, I've just cut mine out of the pattern paper. And when I tore my pattern papers at the top there, you'll see I purposefully had them coming down towards the middle there. So I think the first one I tore was the blue one, and when I tore it I kind of just guided it so it came down in the middle, because my vision was really to have those layers pointing down where the photo will go, and then go up at the edges. So I am just going to lay down some just ink to add interest to the background, and as usual I'll probably cover it all up. Now, interestingly, when you get your pattern papers each month, have you noticed they come pre-packaged with a really sturdy bright white piece of card, which I think is just to transport it and to keep it safe, and that's what I'm using for my background. It is really stiff card. What I did find in comparison to the card I normally use, I just did find that my ink didn't flow as quickly. It's a really matte card, so what it did was absorb the ink quite easily. So that's something to note. You could, if I'd have used a bit of gesso, I would have got a bit of a different look, because the ink or the paints would float on the top. But as it was, I was fine with what happened. It's just, it didn't flow across as I was expecting. And that's just because I'm used to using different white cardstock. But I've definitely kept all of mine from all the months we've been having it pre-packaged. So I've got a nice little stack because it's really super thick card. And I thought, oh, it's going to be great for making mini books and things like that. So it's really down to the embellishing now. So I'm going to have my photo at the top there, And one of my tags, when I was cutting out from the scrap paper I had left, it got a torn edge, and I've kept that torn edge rather than straightening it off. Not easy to say. And I've also flipped it so it's upside down. So I can have one tag poking out the top of the photo and then the other facing downwards below the photo. And now it's time to get out all those lovely die cuts, the fabric pieces, which are just lush. But anything you've got left really, because there's always loads and loads of die cuts. And what I'm doing is I'm layering and tucking those in between the edges of the papers and my photo. So really building up those layers. So to me, I think the successful thing is when you overlap. So I don't have things floating around and not touching and connecting. So I've overlapped so much that maybe you only see a little piece poking out. And sometimes I used to think, oh, well, it seems a bit of a waste because you can't see much of it. But really, that's what gives you that absolute depth and detail, because you can just see a bit. So what happens is when you're looking at it in real life, you're kind of intrigued as to what's below, and it kind of holds your eye a little bit longer. So that would be my top tip. And I'm just using whatever bits and pieces are in that die cut pack that go with my story. So we're not actually at the beach here. There's I don't know if you've been to Menorca, but there's on the main road between the new capital and the old capital. I don't even know what road that is. There's a place called Castillo Menorca, and it's actually shopping. It's just the weirdest place ever. It's they've made the building look like a castle, hence the name. And I think they sell fancy ornaments and leather goods, which I've never bought anything there. But you can also pay to use the facilities there. So they've got a swimming pool, and they had trampolines and I don't know, all sorts of bits and pieces that are great for kids. So we've been there a few times. It's the weirdest place, as I say, because it's actually a shopping place, but it's not our taste in shopping because we don't do things like ornaments. So it's coming along nicely. I've just threaded some twine through the top and tied a bow through that top tag there, and I've looped that twine so it floats down to the bottom tag. And as you can see, I did cover up most of the ink I put down initially. Even though I marked it out, I still managed to cover it all up. So just using a round paintbrush now. Now this is where you have to be super careful because remember I said it didn't flow very well. So what I'm aiming to do is just lay down a bit of colour under my clusters just to ground it to the layout. And then I'm going to add some pink splatters in the same colour. So again, use your fine paintbrush, or your round paintbrush rather. I think I've got a bigger paintbrush coming, maybe not. And then I'm going to add some white splatters. So I've just got white ink. But you could water down acrylic, gesso to get the same effect. And that I think, I think about that's about it. So I think I've got everything on camera. I'm going to leave you with the close-ups. I love how it turned out. I'm really loving that torn paper feel. And I was really shocked myself as to how many layouts I've had out of this month's kit. Very, very impressive. If you like it, love a thumbs up. And don't forget the challenge is up tomorrow, and there's always plenty going on in the group. So hopefully I will see you over there. And my name is Morag, and my channel can be found in the link below, and I'll leave links to the kits too. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye now.